Johnnny Walsh. We're going to hear from Johnnny Walsh about growing up at Squaw.
I'm being micromanaged by my sister. Does anybody know about that? Everybody here raise their hand who knows Debbie. Debbie! She is the new queen of the valley since Betty passed away. Queen of everything, according to her new husband. Number 7.
Just like his mother.
How many of you have this book?
Upside down.
All right. Sorry, my dog chewed the corner. I sent one book around the room of Jane Fiedler, a wonderful book. It hits on things this doesn't hit. Frolic, we all love. Tom Lippert. He was cleaning out his pictures, and he had pictures of Tamara and all of us ski racing he wants to get rid of. He's trying to live in a camper van. In this book, what we talked about tonight is you have 4 or 5 figures, Tamara included. It's a beautiful book that hits on a lot of the things that you guys would love to, learn a little bit more about. So if you don't have this book, I think it's an awesome book. The one with that I sent around with Jane Fiedler, I don't know how you could find that, but if you look at some of those great little stories and things, she hits on a lot more of the 60s and 70s. And then the picture of the fire truck is a classic because Jim Evans, who was the captain, lives across the street from me right now. And I went in his house one time and I saw that thing, and it was, if there was a fire in Squaw that Russell set, which is 99% of the time. Now, if any of this, I'm a doctor and there's a thing called the HIPAA Act. You guys all know about it. Information cannot leave the office. So if any of this gets back to the Polsons, I will find you. I'm Irish. Okay? So anything I say about we love the Polsons. If it wasn't for Wayne, we wouldn't be sitting here in this house. Russell tried to burn it down a couple times. So anyway, nothing leaves this place tonight because that book, The Fire Truck, is classic. If you notice in that thing, and Jim talked about it, in those days they had a refrigerator with beer in it. And if you were on call, you drank beer. If there was a fire, I hope you didn't drink too many beers. And he said it was State Fund who finally came in and was like, you got to get the beer out of the Squaw Valley Firehouse. Not a good thing. And Jim looked at the guy and said, do you smell what it smells like in here? That is not beer, that is, medicinal marijuana. So those guys had a lot of back pain back then too. So you guys have sugar coming out. Sugar boosts your dopamine. You're going to feel good when you leave here because right now the shit's hitting the fan. So this is what you guys miss. Some of you guys are old school or old timers, my mother would say. So here we go. When I was asked to do this, I was like, everyone knows about the mountain. You can ski the mountain. That hasn't changed. Shirley Canyon hasn't changed. I'll tell you why one reason Shirley Canyon hasn't changed. So Cushing had OVI for a little bit. There was, when Silverado was looking to be built, a little bit of a hint that he might cut some trees and he might groom down Shirley Canyon so you could ski down through Silverado, come down and ski in, ski out of your OVI condo. That was the old days, and I wish it had happened. I know it's a little bit tougher, but I think Joan Clausen, Gene Sprainley, my mother, and a few others walked right past Cushing's secretary and went into his office and said, you do that, shit's hitting the fan. You don't touch Shirley Canyon. If a groomer goes down Shirley Canyon or you cut a tree, we're going to make your life so miserable, Rhode Island will look beautiful in the winter. So, guess what? Any tree cutting, any grooming down Shirley Canyon kind of came to a halt. And that was kind of the old days because here we go. When he asked me what to talk about, I thought about events. I thought about events that you guys haven't been able to continue to have because in the old days we filled 2 full-size school buses, one going to elementary school, at the time it was K through 8 Tahoe City, and then everybody went through 9 through 12 to Truckee. North Tahoe was built, but the school bus thing was kind of a big thing. You might fill with the kids in the valley maybe half a school bus. So there was a lot of kids in this valley, and so we had to entertain ourselves. Just like Heidi was saying, I wanted to play Little League Baseball. My mom said, I think they built the bike path to Taos City. Good luck on your Stingray. You know, Heidi wanted to be a cheerleader. Her mom said, just go to the pool. So our parents would just hunker down, and the last Taos City might as well have been in Nevada. So, you know, Truckee was a place the kids went to school. And if you really needed some big piece of hardware, you also had to go there. So we were stuck in a dysfunctional way in the valley. And it was like a big backyard where you felt safe because you're at the sawdust piles over where the resort is. And the sawdust piles were, and I forget where I was just introduced to. He was doing parking at the Olympics in '60. Well, that was the reason they parked, because they put a bunch of sawdust in the meadow. Well, where'd they put it? They put it all over at the resort. We had sawdust piles as kids taller than this house with ski gates on it. We did medieval games. I mean, who in their right mind today would allow their kid to go all the way across the meadow, unsupervised by an adult, pick up a stick, and then Hansi Stantiner saying, okay, the rules are you cannot hit above the waist. So if anyone gets hit by a stick in the head, you're out. Well, yeah, what if he's bleeding? Well, his house is right over there. You know, you had to cross the meadow, cross the river, you know, the kid could die by that time. So we thought we were safe because we were in the meadow and we could see our homes. We didn't know that if someone truly got hurt, they'd be dead by the time you got them back to the house. So, which leads to a whole other point. Another thing growing up in this valley, we didn't have to leave. We had a grocery store. We had the post office. Our parents had 3 wonderful bars, the Bearpin. They had Bar 1 if they wanted to slum it a little bit. And then there was the 5 Circles Club, and if Alex put you on the list, you had a card. You got to go in. And then Betty and Debbie would come out and model, and Debbie was 8, and she was, you know. So Alex would have his, socialites up there, and my mom and Debbie would be on the bar just like mother, like daughter, but it was cool. They were real fur at the time. Dad wasn't around. So you had a clinic. None of us ever were scared of getting hurt because you just went down to Gene Spranley or Joan Clausen. Everything was good. And if they thought it was bad enough, then they might call Killemeyer, or Gordy Peer. Gordy Peer was a surgeon. Shit, he can fix anything. Set a broken bone, surgery. Now, so we never had to leave. We had a clinic 24/7. If it was after hours, you called Joan Clausen. If she thought it was bad enough, she would call Killemeyer. And there's stories where I had pneumonia too, 15 feet of snow. The only road open is the main road. Hello, Gordy Pier, yep. All right, snowshoes on to my house to make sure I'm not dying. Charlie Killemeyer, cross-country skis, down to the Willards to make sure that the bronchitis isn't going to go to pneumonia. I mean, that was the trippy thing that you had in here, so you really didn't have to feel like you had to leave. So it was safe in here, a little dysfunctional, but at that time I think everybody was. So the events that made it dysfunctional, meaning that let's all get together, have a reason to drink a lot of booze, and then, we'll use our children as the scapegoats. So one of them was a go-kart race. How many remember the go-kart race on Tiger Tail? Not a lot of hands. So imagine, so you guys know Tiger Tail comes whipping down, makes a big turn, goes over Forest Glen, drops out to a T at the bottom, and that's Winding Creek. So again, Mr. Clausen, Mr. Engineer, Builder. So the Clausen boys had a go-kart that would go about 90, So John Spranley would stand up there, and they had some way of communicating. And we all of us are you get 2 to a team, everyone makes a go-kart, now it's game on. So who in their right mind today would send a kid down with no brakes, down Tiger Tail, whip across Forest Glen, and hit a T at the bottom? So all I remember is Danny Clausen with his little ski helmet on, skipping and rolling like this because he was the fastest. And then the Tomlinsons had the timer, so we had a full full day of go-kart racing on Tiger Tail. A reason for the adults to drink. So the Easter slalom, again, like Heidi was saying, we had a family race, but we also had the Easter slalom where it was just the kids. Imagine the deck at Papoose just laid out, which you guys would love to do, laid out with food, end to end. All the wives, mothers, they got their Easter hats on, and the kids racing. The younger kids followed a diet line. Another reason to drink. So Cushing, he thought he'd throw a few things in there, so he had the Easter egg hunt. The only thing that got all us kids excited, because we thought, you know, Cushing, he's not doing anything for us, the guy's from Rhode Island, whatever. He went, and somehow or another, he got like 3 Easter baskets. So if you got the gold egg, the basket was that big, which none of us had seen. We thought, you know, special order from San Francisco, silver egg, bronze egg, and then it would just let loose. Little did we know where we're out running around his house, Squaw 1, the old maintenance shop. Danger, 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 all over. KT-22, ski patrol, everything. Parents are in bar 1 drinking. So the Easter hunt was great for the parents and the kid who found the golden egg. So that was another event that was crazy. Now, Mike, I said, rodeo. You got bullshit. That's no rodeo. Over by Papoose was a rodeo ring. And, you know, for the kids, we could bounce around on the big oil barrel that was on 4 springs and think we were doing buck and bronco. You know, it was really cool. But then somehow, because Marillac had brought in all these French guys that were, you know, the French aren't really smart. He would line them up, and these guys would line up. I'm a Frenchman, I will do the buck and bronco. You know, and so as kids, and everyone, we'd sit on the fence and watch these French ski instructors just get ejected off the thing. And then the kids got to chase a grease pig, and that was great. Squaw Valley Rodeo, another reason to drink. So, but the best one that you guys got to start up again, because there are some needy children that need to ski race at the tune of like $50,000 a year. So it was called the treasure hunt. And the treasure hunt, another reason to drink, yes. But it was great because the clues included everything that was unique to the valley that nobody, unless they lived here, knew what to even look for. So, I mean, I just had a guy, I was talking to somebody about this talk. He's like, oh, I did the treasure hunt. Oh, shit. Yeah. I had to climb the jump hill because one of the treasures was in the judge's booth, which was this like 15-story building teetering, about ready to fall down into Red Dog. And I mean, so imagine now drunk adults with funny hats on, climbing the jump hill in the summer, and you could climb it because the jump hill, they built all these beautiful little 2x4 things to hold the snow for the Olympics. So the treasure hunt was called the Squaw Valley Sporting Club, and you won a bowl, and you got your name engraved on it, and you had teams, and you picked your team, and it was just the local full-time parents in here. And it was a great deal because it was a good time for the true people full-time to get together, do something unique through the valley where they had to kind of go through and find some great clues, Shirley Canyon, up on the jump hill. And again, all ending up with helping the gifted children of Squaw. So the things that we got to be part of here were, I mean, there's some other events, and I am missing some. I mean, how fun would it be for you guys if every Wednesday night there was a broomball game? Yes. You know, I mean, yes, it was, we were biased because, you know, my brother Billy was the Squaw Valley Chiefs and those guys. I'm talking like people losing teeth. I'm talking frozen softballs that would shatter a guy's face with no mask on. I mean, so Wednesday night, another reason to drink, is you go into the Olympic ice rink and there would be broomball games. And then you started to have rivalries. It was Incline, and it was, Boreal had 2 semi-pro hockey players. I mean, so it was fun because it had those fun times where just the valley could get together, have a fun event. You know, and I hope you guys, I know how hard you're fighting just to trying to keep the history and that feeling of the original feeling of Squaw Valley, which when everybody walks in and that energy hits you, it is to continue. I mean, we had the stables. Debbie used to get off the bus and be able to walk from the bus at the grocery store and get on a horse, ride it around the valley, come up and tie it to our deck. I mean, what?
No, that was Betty. Her fur.
No, that was Betty.
That's Betty. And the fur. So there's a picture I have. I know I showed it at my mom's memorial, but I mean, how classic where there's cattle in there, the resort's not built, and she's out there modeling her fur coat. You know, pulls, yeah, that was our, hey, those are our cows. So, I mean, so there was a lot of history. There were some great events. I know you guys are doing an incredible job with the property owners and everything. I mean, in that book, you have a whole chapter on Tamara. You have a whole chapter on Peter Clausen. There's so many things, Monty Atwater. I mean, John Martesia. That's what I remember. As a kid growing up, and I ski coach now for 17, 18 years here. And there is nothing more terrifying than me on the mountain than taking 10-year-olds up KT on a powder day. And I get scared. I come down, I yell at the parents. I mean, the kids being a dork, the kids in the tree well. I don't like that. What was it like when you were a little brat? And if you go into, unfortunately, I'm not sending you there, but you got to go to the Loft Bar in the Chamois, the Wall of Death, not good. But you look at some of the ski patrol photos, and the ski patrol shack was right near KT 22. And you had Ballinger, and at the time he was #1 avalanche guy in the United States. You had 3 guys on there wearing bell bottoms, knees, you know, I mean, 3 of them had summited like Evers, KT. I mean, these guys were amazing, respectable people you listened to. And if you were under 10 years old and you tried to sneak in the KT line, you'd be in there like, I'm going skiing up KT. And then all of a sudden it'd be like, cling, cling. You know, and Wally Ballinger would be there with his speckled glasses, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, going, what are you doing? You know. Oh, is this not Cornice 1? Yeah. No, this is KT 22. If I ever catch you in there, I'm going to tell your mother. You're going to lose your pass for 2 months. They do. They don't want young kids up into the respectable part of KT 22. So growing up here, there was a little different respect. It was great times. I mean, we had the falls, we had the meadow, the resort wasn't there yet. Debbie had her horses. Brad and I were scared of horses, so we didn't go near horses, you know. And all the parents kind of worked and had jobs in here, so that's again why the valley had its own little nucleus that to survive you didn't have to leave. Yes, some of us had dreams of Little League Baseball, you know, and like Heidi said, that didn't exist. It's too far away. You're a skier. I'm a skier. I'm 6'4". I'm a skier. Yeah. If I lived anywhere else, I'd be a basketball player. So, and the 2-wheel drive thing, absolutely. I mean, I sat out as a kid on Wayne Road. Who designed Wayne Road? Wayne did, because he thought it was funny. Wayne designed Wayne Road with 2-wheel drive cars. You know, you go, Wayne had a really sick sense of humor. So, as kids, we'd sit on snowbanks and watch car crashes. It was the best thing in the world. I mean, what else? You know, this would be after the Mighty Mites. Yeah, the Mighty Mites had got shut off. It's still snowing out. What the hell do? You play a few video games. Your parents go to the Chamois or they go to Bar 1, and you hooky bob down to Wayne Road. So you hook onto some tourist bumper, get carbon monoxide poison, and then you head down there and you get off at Wayne Road, then you go sit on the snowbank and you watch the idiots, second homeowners, try to drive home or come down. You know, I got to get back to the Bay Area. You're like, you're kidding me. So we'd sit on there and the crashes were amazing. 2-wheel drive, you know, and then you get the total Bob Marley smoke coming out the frickin' window, Volkswagen Bug with chains on it, and he'd make it up. And you'd be like, nice, local guy. You know, stone local guy that left bridge tender, but that's okay. But because he made it up, the guy that just bought the brand new Blazer down in San Francisco thought he could go down. And then he would go down, and by the time his wheels are locked up, he'd cross the main road going about 60, through the snowbank, into the meadow. And so those are the times as kids, you had to create your entertainment. There was a lot of it at the lodge. You know, we had the drunk Santa Claus every New Year's Eve, every Christmas Eve. You know, so your parents would hand off the present to, you know, the pile. They'd all go to Bar 1, start drinking. Kids, we'd watch the beautiful torchlight parade. Santa would come down last, staggering. And by the time he got to sit on his lap, we're not sure if it's John Sprainley or we're trying to figure that. We're not sure. Nobody's fessed up. By the time he sat on his lap, the beard's all twisted. All right, what do you want? Now you're a Walsh kid. Out here as a present. Get out of here. You know, Peter Pan, give me another cocktail. You know. So you're kind of scared of Santa for a little while until you got out of the valley and realized that was an imposter. So a lot of those things happened, but the events were really absolutely memorable. Summertime, like Kate was talking, we had a public swimming pool, public tennis courts, connected to a soccer field, and a candy store. Why would we want to go anywhere else? Big pool, tennis courts. Hansi Stantiner admitted he stole stuff out of the candy store. He's not perfect. And so you could eat sugar, swim for a while. Linda Hager was our swim teacher. She'd try to drown you and then pull you up, drown you. And we all learned how to swim or Linda was going to kill you. Diving board next to a coping that would have killed you. But we could play soccer and we'd all meet there. And then when boredom struck there and nobody was playing tennis, guess where we go? Shirley Canyon. So if there's one place that you guys have to preserve,
Yes.
it's Shirley Canyon. And I think Joan Clausen started the Shirley Canyon Coalition just to scare the shit out of somebody that said, well, nobody's protecting this. So your condos you're talking about, you know, Debbie will go naked against a tree. I know she will. Debbie will be the one that you strap to the tree that they're going to cut down for the condos in Shirley Canyon. So anyway, questions or anything, you guys, I appreciate all the work you guys do to keep the preservation of Squaw going, and it is a beautiful place. We drive in every day and appreciative of everything we were able to enjoy growing up. So, thank you guys.